Hi guys, this is Dan. Welcome to Engelgeist. For those of you that are new, welcome. For those of you that are returning, welcome back. For those of you that are on Patreon, thank you so very much for your subscriptions. This is the all signs broad spectrum collective reading for everyone for Tuesday, October 18th. It is not solely set for that day, but you're seeing it on a different date and it still applies. By all means, utilize the reading. For those of you that are new, please check out the drop-down menu, and there's some housekeeping rules, things I want you to think about, what decks I'm using, how to follow me on social media, and easy ways to support the channel. You can always hit that thumbs up button, please subscribe if you enjoy the content, share the video out with your friends, and leave me a question or comment. Now let's get into these cards. You'll hear me referring back to the Sunday underpinning reading, which populates in the lower left-hand corner. That's kind of the energy of the week, kind of underneath all of this. And we have some really wonderful cards from the Sunday reading, so it's worth a look to see. Let's see what the card is for today that we're sharing. Remember, each and every one of you may experience this around a different person, situation, environment, decision, whatever the card may be. Let's see. The Empress. Okay. I love her. She shows up. Empress I associate with the Divine Feminine. I have this thing about, you know, being the Empress right now, or standing in my Empress power. She represents abundance, grace, fertility, love, nature, art, beauty. She's closely related to the planet Venus, which is in Libra right now, and also Venus is ruled by the sign of Taurus. The Empress knows what she deserves. She's gentle, she's compassionate, she's peaceful, yet she's powerful as shit. You know, she doesn't settle for less. She's not going to settle for less. She knows how she deserves to be treated. I feel like this Empress, for me personally, is asking me to step up to the plate, only because we saw that Judgment card yesterday, and underpinning this in the beginning of the week is there's another major arcana card. What was it? It was Temperance, which is that peace, that calm. The Empress would also flourish under that peace and that calm and that serenity. Being serene and solid in what we know, grounded in what we know, discerning, paying attention, understanding what we deserve and what we should expect from people or situations that are not living up to us, might be at the very forefront today. The Empress reminds us to sort of stand in that calm, stand in that peace, stand in that compassion. Make sure, obviously, that that compassion is more for you than anyone else, right? But there's an appreciation that we should have, an acknowledgement of our power, our grace, our beauty, that the Emperor, and our connection to the world around us. How we connect compassionately, how we nurture, you know, the sources of love in our lives, right? But the Empress is also, I'm going to say this, she's not going to put up with anything that's beneath her. And I don't mean that in a bad way. It's just this sort of like, oh, this shoe doesn't fit. I'm sorry. I'm not going to take it with me kind of thing, right? And so we have, I want to say kind of like the strength and the wisdom and the patience and everything, especially with Temperance underpinning this and Judgment card yesterday. But this is about standing in our own divine kind of feminine truth of who we are, what we're worth, knowing our power. It's not necessarily a wielding of power, like we're forcing people to bend to our will. It's more about just a quiet acknowledgement of, you know what, this isn't for me, or this doesn't work, or this is not, you know, this needs to be up to her standards. So hold your standards high today and maintain that, because that's sort of what the Empress is about. Now let me read you the Wild Mystic card. We have, Starfish. 5-pointed star, sacred. I believe we've seen him before. I love the starfish showing up because it makes me associate with the star card. And that's my favorite card of the deck. And that's definitely a card of peace and tranquility, right? And when I think about starfish, is how they kind of hang out at the bottom of the ocean. They don't usually get too much trouble. That's kind of nice, like laying low in a way. Starfish, sacred. This card represents the sacred geometry and symmetry of nature. From fractals of succulent plants to the Fibonacci seed spirals on the head of a sunflower, many natural forms correspond to mathematical and geometric formulas. Throughout history, philosophers and even scientists and mathematicians have ascribed the remarkable symmetry and geometry of the natural world to a higher power. This is reflected in the architectural symmetry of places of worship, ancient temples, and spiritual artwork. This card tells you to look for the sacred in the mundane and the supernatural in the natural. I'll say this too about all of these, the description of the starfish, about the sort of symmetry of nature. The Empress would be very in tune with that. She would be very connected to that. So keep that in mind, guys. We should be very in tune and connected to our environment, what's going on, and being somewhat in charge, or have a say in which direction we go, or what we do, what we choose. And just as I said that, the 5 points of the starfish kind of stood out in my mind, because right now we could be at a place of different branching paths, and which one do we take? The Empress will lead us correctly and right, though, and that might be some of the answering of the call of judgment yesterday. When this card comes into a reading, it is a reminder that we are all unified, similar and akin to one another. It is a symbol of our connection to each other as well as to the divine. Whatever the divine might mean to you, this card signifies our links and bonds with one another through not only our similarities but also our differences. This card might be asking you to rise above a situation or seek enlightenment. The shadow reading of this card may warn us that we have become preoccupied with the things that separate us from other people. We have focused so much on our differences that we have forgotten our connections. Reconciliation with others or other parts of yourself that have fractured might be necessary. The correspondence is water. The flora is walnut, chervil, frankincense, sunflower, lily, and buttercup. The stones are amethyst, ametrine, celestite, which that's one of my favorite stones, and brown jasper. The spell work is communication with divine energy, meditating on the self, invoking work, and angel magic. Now let's go to the clarifiers. First out, we have the Chariot. Cancerian, major arcana, pairs nicely with the Empress, forward movement, oftentimes successful forward movement. Sometimes the Chariot can be a big move forward, right? A big choice to move forward. Whatever we're moving towards, we should be moving towards something that nurtures us. That would be the Cancerian energy. It would also be the energy of the Empress. I shit you not, this card just fell off the top of the deck. It is the Empress again. And that's major arcana. Let me look at the third one. Oh my god, the High Priestess. We have 3 major arcana as our clarifiers today. This is a big leap forward. This is a big leap, a belief in oneself today, placing oneself first, understanding one's own beauty, power, intuition, strength. This High Priestess could be about, she's always about secretive stuff, right? But she's also about spiritual wisdom and awareness. Like, there's no denying how we feel on the inside. And I feel like the High Priestess kind of keys into that sacred card, too, of the starfish. All of this is underpinned by temperance, right? And then the midweek card was the 10 of Pentacles. So whatever this is for us, you know, whatever this embodiment of new power, this decision we're making, this move forward, this intuitional feeling that we might be having, even if it doesn't make sense to others, we need to see it as sacred. We need to see it as how we are connected to our environment, to the world, to the situations we are in our lives. And we need it to empower us, to have us step into this fertile energy of the Empress, this divine feminine energy. She's also, you know, very much located in the High Priestess card too. And allow that to move us forward. Chariot being associated with Cancerian energy a lot, and sometimes Piscean energy too, but Cancer is ruled by the moon, and that's our emotions too. So there is this trusting of oneself and one's, I don't want to say secrets, but one's intuitional wisdom right now. That's the High Priestess. That although if it doesn't make sense to other people, it should and need only make sense to us, right? That's the strength of this Empress. Now let's look to the grounding stone. And the word is promise. I feel like the promise is the dedication we need to, like, dedicate ourselves to living in the shoes of the Empress, behaving, acting, expecting that which the Empress would expect. The promise is the opportunity that comes from choosing one of the 5 paths of the sacred star, right? Like if we're in a place where we're choosing to move forward in a different direction and we're doing so with authority, compassion, in a search for beauty, contentment, and harmony, we have every right to. And that choice or that shift, that movement is moving us towards the promise of maybe a better life, a newer opportunity, a better relationship, whatever it may be. I feel like we can be guided towards it and we can utilize the promise of it or the opportunity of it, the possibility of it to kind of excite us, light us up, and move us forward. Remember, yesterday's stone was our energy, and the stone for the week is on Tiger's Eye, it's that generosity. In other words, the Empress is going to be extremely generous. She's extremely creative. She's connected to the earth and to fertility and rebirth and all of that. There's a rebirth happening here, and it has something to do with what we know internally. This is the High Priestess that is moving us forward. We need to trust it and follow it with our heart and mind. That is your forecast. Please like, share, comment, subscribe. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow, and take care. Bye-bye.